Hello, guys. Good evening. All right. Please confirm if you can hear me, guys. All right. Please, can you confirm if you can hear me clearly? I have some of you guys. How do you know I'm the one taking today's session? Because I've already seen some persons saying, Ebenezer, good evening, my fellow comrade. Okay. Guys, can you hear me, please? I'm not sure. Okay, all right. Thank you, football gists. Good evening, and good evening, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're joining us from. All right, loud and clear. All right, thank you, precious. Uku. Oh, Paul Pev, my holiday restful. Like, I've been doing a lot. I have been doing a lot of sleeping, honestly speaking. But yeah, feel really, really refreshed right now. Right, I'm ready to go for the next couple of months. All right, how about you guys? For has been the holidays. I hope you guys have been making our time to rest. Very, very important. Hey, Tulani Wisdom, how you doing, my chief? Yes, Emmanuel Anthony. Yeah, I did. I enjoyed the long holiday. Thank you. I did. All right. So we are going to be starting very soon. So please make out time to inform your friends, right? Drop a message on the group, right? Call your friends, call your enemies, tell them we're about to start, right? And oh my god, this is wicked. Wow, that's interesting. Emmanuel Anthony stressful. Oh my god. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Okay. All right. So we are giving others the grace of 2 more minutes, right? So when it is exactly 10 minutes past time, we just hit the ground running. Okay. Olalude Philip. You said you still don't know anything. No, now you can't be telling me that. You can't be telling me that. I mean, we've done quite a few things, right? After all we've done, you can't tell me you don't know anything, right? At this point, you should be in a very good place when it comes to um, introduction to cybersecurity. Now, if anybody is talking about cybersecurity, you shouldn't be completely lost, right? You have an idea of what it is that we are trying to do in cybersecurity, right? And yeah, we've done a couple of practicals, right? We've messed around with Wireshark, digged out login credentials, and all those kind of stuff. We spent some time doing forensic, right? Investigating the criminal phone. I can't remember what is that our brother name, right? The you guys said he's a criminal. We did a couple of things. You guys did Google Docking with peace, right? So yes, Sam, thank you, Take Time, thank you, Omotosho. So I'm surprised you are telling me you've not learned anything. That's really really heartbreaking to see. Okay, ah, edits by 90 Salamit. All my Muslim friends, my Muslim friends on this call, you all, like my physical Muslim friends, my Muslim friends in our class, you all betrayed me. I'm not even lying. I don't think I've experienced a salad like this one. I've not tasted one single ram meat, but but I mean, I've moved on, right? I've consoled myself. Yes, thank you. Cryptography. Mention cryptography. In fact, when we're doing cryptography, we showed like implementation, right? The difference between HTTP and HTTPS. We explained that also using Wireshark, right? And okay. All right. So I think from the comments, I have James Damilola. You guys, please don't let me lose my job. Okay. All right. So I believe we did so far. We've had like a very, very nice experience. Okay. Dari, Mr. Emmanuel, good evening. About the autopsy software, most of us couldn't download it from the website. It had to be sent to WhatsApp. Downloading it on the website needed authorization. I find that rather strange, Dari, because I did that. I think I didn't completely do that on stream, but I kind of did part of that on the stream because I wanted to. That guys, please, can you hear me now? Sorry, can you hear me now, please? Please confirm if you can hear me, guys. Sorry about that. Okay, thank you, Ngozi. Okay, so like I was saying, I hope I was trying to answer Darius' question, right? So you want to be sure because it actually worked for me here, right? The download was successful over here, and I tried to demonstrate part of that in the class just to avoid this kind of complaints. So you guys want to be sure, right? A lot of the time, good network like plays a huge role when it comes to all this setting up environment and downloading stuff. So you want to be very sure of your network, okay? Yeah. Um Obadiah, yeah, in South Sudan. Are you for real? That's actually interesting to hear. If you actually stay in South Sudan, that's nice. Okay. I'm not sure I have any other question. Okay, James. Good evening, Emmanuel. I still can't extract the autopsy software. You're not supposed to extract autopsy. You're supposed to install it, right? All you have to do is download and install it. Okay, so you're probably going around that using the wrong method. Okay, tech type, thank you for these answers. Okay, if you use Microsoft Edge, you'll be able to download. I also had the same issue. Okay, that might fix it. I mean, looking back at our session, I actually use Microsoft Edge, but it's not supposed to be a browser problem. But I mean, never say never. Anything happens. Strange things happen in tech, so you might want to check that out. Okay, Asuman Adebayo. Please, Emmanuel, I'm still having issues with the extraction of Android image with the 7-zip. Okay. If you're having issues with the Android image extraction, make sure you download the right file, which is about 200 and something MB. Make sure you have 7-zip installed, 7Z installed on your Windows system, right? Once you have that installed, then you double extract it. Once you double extract it, you can then import it following the step we did in our session. Okay. Okay. Um, thank you, Tech Dive. Thank you. Um, I think I've answered all the question. Um, Okay, Emmanuel Anthony, please, I want to ask if you want to check your personal Android, how do you go about that? Okay, right. If you want to check your personal Android mobile phone, a lot of factors come into play, right? And like I said, for the sake of the kind of class we're having, which is largely introduction to cybersecurity, we don't want to go into that, right? The Android phone you are going to be extracting, right? The Android mobile phone has to be rooted first of all. Then you need to enable developers mode, connect it with your computer. Then you get a shell into it. Then you use a couple of tools like DD to extract to actually image the mobile phone. Okay, so yeah, that's what the process looks like, Emmanuel Anthony. But for the sake of our introduction, we are not touching those into all of that. Okay, Ayodele Oyewole, I was able to download an autopsy, but it's not working. That's interesting. Are you sure the download was successful? I want to check it. Maybe you really reinstall, okay? Try installing it over again. That might fix it. And then check compatibility issue also. Your system architecture and all those kind of stuff can come into play. Okay. I not Taiwo. Good evening, Emmanuel. Please download the image is just downloading. Just 7. Okay, this I not Taiwo. This looks like a network issue, right? So yeah, if you don't have a stable network, right, sometimes your download might experience a lot of download when you have like a very stable network. So for those who might be having this kind of issue, you might want to get like a download manager to help manage all those kind of problems associated with inconsistent network and those kind of stuff. Okay. Adele Oyewole, I believe I answered your question. No, I'm not ignoring anybody's message. I'm trying as much as possible to answer all of your question, except um, I skipped it. It's not intentional, trust me. Okay, I mean, I answered that your dailies already. Okay, I just answered that a while ago. Um, Tobiloba, I ignored your message. Can you type it again? I must have missed it. Okay. For PEV, I have an issue with the teaching a little bit, especially when it comes to practical. That the directives are only on Windows, forgetting some are okay. For those who are using Linux or Mac OS, right? I mean, you can always follow through. Okay, it's just going to be slight difference, right? Autopsy, right? It will just be downloading and installing it differently, right? If you are installing Wireshark, it's just a different, maybe a slightly different download and installation, and maybe a little bit of difference in the interface and those kind of stuff. Same as Linux, right? So I believe, yeah, I don't think that's much of a problem, right? Okay. Okay, Ebenezer, is routing good? That's a tough question, right? Right. Routing a mobile phone is just you trying to have complete control over the mobile phone. Okay, right. But most time, if you don't have to, if it's not necessary, you don't have to. Okay. I mean, in real life scenario, in fact, you might need to get like a legal consent before you do those kind of stuff to a victim mobile phone. Okay. Um Okay, James, I meant I can't unzip 100 image using 7-zip. The total size of the images is. That's interesting. You be sure you installed 7-zip the right way, and the file you downloaded is actually well doesn't maybe didn't get corrupt along the way. Okay. I believe I answered this Paul Pev already. Are your daily. Oh, I was able to download an autopsy. It was 1 million KB, but I can't. Yeah, this, in fact, this 1 million KB doesn't sound like. Okay, guys, sorry. I think my network should be more stable now. Moving on. Okay. Um. Okay. Okay. So we have. Okay, I'm just taking our time to answer as much question as I can. Then because this is like the last week, so we are kind of rounding up and those kind of stuff. So let's take a good time to answer some questions here. And yeah, okay, I think I've answered this. Answered this. Okay, Emmanuel is already. Adeju one. Emmanuel is already. Don't worry. Tonight, this week, we are just going to do kind of recap and do some other stuff. So don't worry. I'm actually taking a look at the time. So I want to answer some of these questions before we touch a little bit on some concepts. Very, very. We are just touching them. We are not going into them because from next week, it's going to be. You are going to embark on some projects, and in fact, moving this week, I'm going to make some suggestion on some possible projects you guys can work on for the next 4 week, for the last part of of the training. Okay, so let's answer some of these questions. But I just hope we don't spend too much time on them. Okay. Um. Okay. Um. Sorry, I have a lot of comments here. I'm trying. Please, let's reduce the noise so I don't miss questions. Okay. Okay. Otubo Edward, how long did it take me to become a pro? Ah, that's an interesting question. I mean, ah, okay. I want to be very careful with the way I answer this question, right? Because some I don't see myself as like the king of cybersecurity or the know-it-all of cybersecurity. Personally, I'm still also learning, upping my game as it is in tech. Like everybody just keep improving their self. There's something new to learn and all those kind of things, right? But I think like I said like, when we started this, I had like some some leverage, right? Because I studied cybersecurity in school. First of all, I studied it as my first degree, and I attended FUTMINA, right? FUTMINA, Federal University of Technology, Mina, right? If you don't know what that means, one of the arguably the best university in Nigeria, right? And honestly speaking, it was a very good environment. I met some good persons, right? And from my the course, according it's supposed to be a 5 years course because all courses in my school are in Futmina are 5 years, right? Regardless of what you're studying, everybody spends 5 years in the school. So I started doing some practical stuff. We got some introduction. We started doing some practical stuff like web development from like 100 level and 200 level. I started getting my hands dirty. 300 level, started taking some courses like beyond what they were teaching us in school. So yeah, I was also lucky before I left school, I got like an offer, right? So yeah, my story is not like the best of story to share with people, right? So yeah, let's not compare each other with each other. Right? I've also seen people that have like way more crazy story, right? And then for some people it takes a while, right? You get so very crazy. But yeah, I believe I mentioned that yeah, I have a friend who did study cybersecurity in in the university, right? And he studied something relating to all these estate management, all these environmental science, technology people we call them School of Environmental, these architects and all those kind of stuff. I can't remember what he exactly studied. But then after graduation, his NYC said he wanted to switch to tech, right? And yeah, he came to our the organization, right? Interned after a couple of training, and yeah, I think about a year later, after we met, right, he landed like a very good role, and honestly speaking, he's even earning more than me right now. So yeah, it's just crazy, right? Don't compare yourself with anybody. Put in the hard work, make sure you learn. For some people, it might be 6 months, for some people, it might be 1 year, right? But the most important thing is you just put in the hard work, right? Till you land your very first role. Okay, so that's it for my TED talk. Okay. Um, is there any other question? Is there a way you can run autopsy on Android phone? No, you can't. Okoro Cynthia, you can't run autopsy on Android phone. Okay, I don't know. Victor Eden, I thought you got a notification that oh, okay. That's not ah Akombi Oluwafemi. How do I install phishing? We didn't touch phishing in our class, so let's restrict the questions to our class. Okay, I answered Otubo Edward already. Hey, my boss Victor Eden, good evening. Um, okay, Charles. the challenge I'm having with autopsy is that it doesn't bring out evidence after running the process, getting to the point where autopsy needs to do its job. Okay, so Charles, if you're having this challenge, you might want to go through the class. Make sure you follow the step we did, right? And yeah, just make sure you follow the exact step I did in that video. That should resolve your problem, I believe, right? And also, if that doesn't fix it, then you want to be sure you downloaded the right file and autopsy is properly installed. Okay. To bore Edward answer this question again. James installed 7-zip correctly, tried several times to no avail. So if you are sure 7-zip is properly installed, be sure you downloaded the right file, because I actually made that mistake during our session. I remember. Yeah, I made that mistake and I had to go download the file the right way. The right file. So you might want to check that. Okay. Uh okay. Is there a way one can run autopsy? No, no, you can't run it on your mobile phone. Okoro Cynthia. Answered this already. Okay. Okay, James, this is the error. If you are getting this error, yes, I think this is very similar to the error I got. That means the file you downloaded is not correct. So you want to fix that. Yes, Ebenezer, my network was misbehaving, but I believe it's good now because I just switched network. This should be more stable. Okay, okay, I have questions on Splunk. So I believe this was I downloaded Splunk on PC, but it was not working. What's okay? I mean, there are a number of reasons for that. You want to be sure you downloaded it the right way, you downloaded the right one for your system architecture and all those kind of stuff. Okay. All right. Victor, I tried to conduct forensic recovery of deleted stuff on my phone memory to recover deleted data, but it's going to take a long. It's supposed to take a long time. Oh, you didn't get it. Okay, something. I can't see exactly what software did you use. Can you give me more detail? Okay. Autopsy is really answering his name. Okay, blessing. Yes, this is the last week I'm going to be teaching you hands-on, right? But then we still have a month to work together on a project. Okay. So that one is we are not going to be having this slide and the way we've been doing it for the last month. Okay. Okay. Benita. Wow, we almost no, no, we are not doing Python is not part of our syllabus, Caleb. Okay. Adenrito, please, how do I go about choosing right blocker property when imaging? Okay. I mean, let's keep the questions to what we've treated so far. Okay. So I'm sure everybody has like properly implemented and understand all what we've touched. Okay, Faith talk with Melody. I'm finding it difficult to extract autopsy image file on Kali. Okay, what's the extension, right? If you're using Linux, what's the extension, right? And it's a different mode of installation when you're using Linux, right? Okay, Shadrach, please, sir, can a system that runs only Windows 8? Yeah, I mean, I believe Windows 8 should be able to work with some of these programs, right? But I mean, it would be better if you're using Windows 10 or 11, right? Autopsy in Cali. Okay, let's see if we'll have that time this week, right? I'm taking out my time to properly address all this question, guys. Don't worry. Okay, Okoli Grace for the first time autopsy is working well, but I can use another phone. But can I use another phone to do the demo? Maybe my phone. Okay, like I said, if you want to use your phone, you have to root your phone, right? And as beginners, right, it's just better to focus on using an already extracted one, okay? Because you it's going to be easy for you to break something. And now if that's the only mobile phone you have, right, you don't want to do that, right? Because there are some processes involved. Okay, so yeah. Okay, someone is asking, apart from Wireshark and Autopsy, how many programs are you good at? There are a lot of tools out there, right? There are a lot. I can't start counting, right? I can't start counting. Like most, I believe I've explained that in this our session, right? Don't be so focused on tooling, right? Don't be focused on saying, "Oh, I've used this tool, I've used that tool," and all those kind of stuff. Just make sure you know what you are doing. A lot of time is when you want to do something that warrants you using a particular tool, because sometimes some tools can even be used for quite a number of things. Okay. My LinkedIn name. Okay, I'm going to pop that up on the screen soon. If you want to connect, what happened to us who haven't even gotten an invite? Talk more. I can't really see Cynthia. I can't see. Okay. Okay. Recap on autopsy demo. Let's see how we can make that happen. I'm not promising, but yeah, our video is available. You can always go over the video. Okay. Tight Tech. Will you still have a class on how you can land internship, entry level job role? How do we divert from whatever career easily without being sniffed on? True. Okay, yeah, we are going to do, yeah, we are going to have those kind of interactive sessions. Remember, the last is going to be a lot more of mentorship, guiding you through your program, your project, and those kind of stuff. And you probably have noticed I can be very honest, right? Right. So I'm going to try to be as honest with you guys as possible when it comes to what is possible, what is not possible, how you can smartly go about some of these things, right? Some mistake I made in my career that you guys should not make, and all those kind of things. So expect those kind of stuff moving on. Okay. Okay. Um 300 level, good evening. Okay, I believe I answered this Kali of which I can't promise we'll touch autopsy on Kali, right? Because I have, like I said, I have a good number of my students using Windows, right? So that's why we are focusing on that. I agree with you, Footmina. Yeah, Footmina is the best. Yes, I believe that's a fellow Footmite. Official Ichado. Okay. Um, I said it over my mind. Okay. Another Footmite. Thank you. Oh my god. Yes, man, wicked. That's it's crazy, guys. But I believe we've been transferring knowledge. What's the next step immediately after now? What next we will do? Yeah, so we are moving to projects, right? We are moving to project, guys. Oh my god, this question. I need to keep finish answering them before our break so we can touch on. Okay. Um that's true. Oh nice. From zoology to network engineering. That's actually inspiring. That's very nice. Okay. Tight tech. So you want to fight with we the foot might. Oh my god. Okay, what's the next step immediately after now? I believe I answered this already. Please, how do I go about using right? No, I said let's keep the question relating to our program. Okay. Um, I have a lot of questions repeating, so let me just jump down. Let's just jump down. I'm sorry if I missed your question, but I have a lot of questions repeating, and I can't. Please, let's reduce the noise so I don't get frustrated by the questions. Because I have a lot of people posting questions that I believe I answered already. Philip, why do we have to download the application separately when we can have it all in? Trust me, you don't have all the applications you need in Kali Linux. Okay. It's easy for you to assume, but I use Kali Linux as my daily driver. The system I'm using to teach you guys right now, in fact, is a Kali Linux system. Okay. So yes, I have my reasons. Trust me. It might be hard for you to to comprehend right now, but okay. Um okay. Okay, about the upcoming projects. Uh yeah, we are going to be having projects in like three domains in like offensive security, defensive security, and governance risk and compliance, depending on the one you want to kind of like work on and all this kind of stuff. So he's asking how much I earn. My God, that's an interesting question. Ah, all right. So let's get to what we have for tonight. I've tried my best, guys, but some of you just seem to be very rude tonight. Ah, let's move. Okay. So yes. So for those asking for my LinkedIn, right? So this is my full name. You can connect with me and um, um those kind of stuff, right? Yeah. So this so let me just. My name is Emmanuel Akobajibolu. I did this already. I'm a Christian, a very proud one, penetration tester, working with a company here in Nigeria, Abuja, right, with the name Cyber Plural, right? And these are some of my certifications, right? I work as a lead penetration tester. I used to work with a US based cybersecurity company with the name Cyber Research Link, but it was on a contract basis. So my contract just expired last month with Cyber Research Link. So the information you're seeing here is not the most up to date, right? Yeah. So one of the beauty of tech is sometimes you get to earn some extra money and those kind of stuff. Why am I saying this tonight? Right. So yes, I used to work with Cyber Research Link. The contract for that just expire. I'm full time working as a pen tester in cyber program here in Abuja, where I get to manage the offensive security to and those kind of stuff. Yeah, so for tonight, we are going to touch on emerging trends in cybersecurity, right? AI in cyber, cloud security, threat intelligence, and those kind of stuff, right? Um, yeah, so those kind of stuff. So you think they should renew my contract. Good, I beg. Um, okay, so recap of what we've done so far, right? So we did some of those. Um, we did that already by answering all of those questions. So let's not spend too much time. So what are expectation for tonight? What are our expectation for tonight, right? So we'll be touching AI in cybersecurity. We're going to be touching a little bit on cloud security, best practices, just majorly introduction to cloud security. We are not going to go deep right into all of that, and then we'll touch a little bit of threat intelligence, right? Threat intelligence evolution and those kind of stuff. Okay, so oh god, right? Yeah, so the changing cybersecurity landscape. So cyber threats are becoming more automated, more sophisticated, and more scalable, right? And this means that traditional method alone are no longer sufficient. Okay, so very important for us to know, right? The cyber security threat landscape right now has become a whole lot more automated, a whole lot more sophisticated, right? So traditional method cannot just keep up, right? So and like you guys know right now, AI is like what everybody is talking about, right? Everybody is talking about AI right now. And yeah, so the same thing applies to cybersecurity, right? AI is very important because right now we have the bad guys using AI to do a lot of interesting stuff, right, in their own domain. Right? So yeah, so we need to there are ways right now we have a lot of AI implementation when it comes to cybersecurity, right? When it comes to defense, right? AI being implemented into tools used for defense, right? Because attacks are automated, right? We need tools that can actually keep up with the automated attack and all this kind of stuff. And as well, if you are also looking at majoring in offensive security, right now we have a lot of AI now, and I want to make like a quick comment, right? When we like what a lot of people call AI right now is actually LLM, okay, which stands for large language model, right? So you might see me interchanging AI and LLM, right? Okay. As we proceed in this session, okay. And from an offensive security standpoint, you want to do like you might be required to do like some security testing for AI model, for LLM model, and all those kind of stuff. And trust me, it's actually like an interesting thing, right? And yeah, so like I was saying like earlier on that when it comes to um this technology security, right, you don't just want to be tool agnostic. You don't just want to be so focused on using tools and all those kind of stuff, right? You want to properly understand how things work and those kind of stuff, right? So when it comes to LLM testing, right, is a lot of trying to social engineer the LLM when it comes to AI hacking, right? Right? Maybe, yeah. I mean, you probably saw some things relating to that when ChatGPT was becoming when ChatGPT was becoming like mainstream and like becoming very, very popular. Like you saw people who went to use um ChatGPT and then they had like some conversations with it, then they made it reveal some sensitive information, all those kind of stuff, right? In fact, there are some interesting scenarios where people like initially LLMs do not have access to the internet, right? But now LLM has access to the internet. That means some of these LLMs can actually browse the internet. Some of these AI tools can actually browse the internet. So imagine scenarios where people go to use these AI tools, and then they tell the AI tools to make 1,000 requests to a particular website, right? So what this means is this is going to overwhelm the server powering the website, which one thing. Another thing is right now we are going to get to cloud technology, right? We have a lot of people using cloud service provider, right? And when it comes to cloud service providers, you do a payment model that is called pay as you go, right? And what this means is the more traffic you have on your website, the more you have to pay. Okay, so imagine me telling an LLM to make like a million requests to a particular um, web application or a particular infrastructure, right? What this means is it's going to cost the owner of that stuff more money, right? So it brings about financial loss for the owner of the website. It also brings about it's and sometimes it could actually shut down the website, because that's like if the website do not have like if the web application do not have like the capacity to handle that kind of request, right? So this kind of attack that I just described to you do not even involve me doing like using any tool. It just involves somebody thinking smartly, right, and giving the right query to the AI tool, right? So some of those things are like things that we are seeing now, right? And yeah, people are actually putting in mechanisms to protect against these things. So traditional method alone is no longer sufficient, basically. Traditional method is no longer sufficient. Okay, so yeah, AI in cybersecurity, artificial intelligence, machine simulating human intelligence, right? We don't need to dwell too much on this, right? Because I believe like a lot of you are already familiar with AI and those kind of stuff. So application in cybersecurity, just like I've explained, we have AI being incorporated into a good number of places in cybersecurity, like threat detection, right? Behavioral analysis, automated response, and all those kind of things, right? And also, right, you also want to, if you are looking into like majoring on offensive security, you might also want to look at how you can actually incorporate this into your offensive security tooling, right? So, for example, there's a popular tool we use when it comes to testing what is known as Active Directory, right? And the name of the tool is Bloodhound, right? It's a very sophisticated tool that makes your life as a penetration tester very, very easy, and a lot of interesting stuff, right? And right now we have like somebody that has built like an LLM integration that you can actually bring it to blood down to make things like very, very interesting. So yeah, you have a lot of LLM AI integration when it comes to tooling in cybersecurity, when it comes to how fast you can do your job and all those kind of stuff, right? So yeah, so use cases of AIs in cybersecurity. So we have like anomaly detection, right? So yeah, AI is actually making it more possible for us to detect anomal behavior, right? Is AI is making it more possible for us to detect, right? Phishing detection, right? AI is helping with that. Malware classification, AI also helping with that. Threat hunting, automation, AI is doing like a fantastic job on that. So, right, in as much as why the point of this whole thing is, as much as we are learning cybersecurity, right, you also have to start thinking of what is working right now, right? You have to start thinking of how you can actually align what it is that you are learning with what it is that is and what is in vogue right now, like what Nigeria will see like the happening thing, right? You want to make sure that your skill set is actually relevant to what is happening right now, right? So you want to make sure that everything you are learning right now is actually um very relevant, right? And AI plays like a very critical role in this. Okay, so yeah, and personally I will tell you like because I use like AI quite a lot, right? I use AI quite a lot when it comes to my job, right? And believe me, one thing I can say is that it helps to drastically cut down the amount of time I spend doing certain things, right? So for example, some things that used to take me maybe a week to do before now, using AI now, using it in research, using it incorporated into a couple of tools, right? I can see like I do something that is supposed to take me as much as a week, I cannot do it maybe in 2 days, 3 days if I have a lot at hand, right? So I mean, for me personally, I would say like one of the benefits, right? The major benefit I've seen when it comes to AI is speed, right? It gives speed, a lot of speed when it comes to my job. Okay, so pros and cons of AI in cybersecurity. Pros and cons of AI in cybersecurity. So, yeah, let me hear from you guys. What pros do you see? What cons do you see when we talk about AI in cybersecurity? So, let me hear from you guys. Think we'll just do this and then we'll take a break, then we'll come back. Okay, I'm waiting for your comment, guys. Okay, okay, nice, nice. So just make sure you indicate if you are talking pro, right? Let's know if it's a pro. If you are talking con, let's know if it's a con. Okay, so yeah, Benita, speed. Thank you, Benita. Very, very correct. Very apt. Damilola, it makes work easier and faster. Yeah, thank you, Damilola. Beautiful, Tommy. Why AI can be integrated into some tools like IPS, IDS. Yeah, very true. Remember we mentioned detection and all those kind of stuff, right? So imagine what detection was before AI, before LLM now. And now that we have like more powerful LLM system, imagine what we can now do with detection in when it comes to security. So very important. Not tech production, over reliability. Okay, so is this a con? Not tech, please. Is this a con? Are you saying people are overly reliant on AI? So people are not using their brain anymore. If that's what you're saying, I completely agree with you. Right. Okay, Benita is a pro. Yes, Felix. One of the pro is working efficiency and speed. Very, very correct. Right. Franklin, plagiarism. Yes, plagiarism is a major problem we have right now. Cecilia, an advantage will be making the process easier. Okay, easier. Easier. I mean, at the end of the day, right, when it comes to using AI, right, or LLM, you must know what it is that you want to do before you can use it to make your life easy. If you have no idea what you are trying to do, you are just going to end up in a lot of problem, right? It's just like vibe coding, right? You have people that have vibe code some stuff, and at the end of the day, they ended up building trash, right? And or building applications that hackers end up just enjoying their cell phone, right? Yeah. So Ibukun, it gets job done faster. Yeah. Okoli Grace, it can be true or false. I mean, the information AI generates. Okay, Ibukun, what did Ibukun say? I'm coming. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I remember what you said. Okay. Yeah, yeah. Okoli. Okay. No, this is Okoli Grace. Temil top where over dependence on AI and using less of, yeah, yeah, very true. That's a con. Wilson, it makes individual lazy. That's a con. Yeah, yeah. Pros from reduced stress, Femi, privacy infringement. This Epenosi reduce stress. Damat. Okay. Okay. Okay, we have a lot of comments here. Philip writes, AI in cybersecurity offers advantages like faster threat detection, automation, and enhanced incident response, but also presents risks. including adversarial attack, potential for bias and reliance. Very true, very true. But Philip, now I'm tempted because of how long your question is. Are you sure you didn't use AI to answer this question? I'm just joking, right? But this is very apt. This is very apt. Yes, Ngozi, it makes work faster and easier. Con is over reliability on AI, right? Okay, yeah. Okay, I have a lot of answers repeating, so I might just keep some. Okay, James, con, it gives the bad guys the idea of how you can detect their action, which can give them more time to think of another. Yeah, very true, right? Very true. It could, I mean, ultimately, the same way you can apply it to protect organization, right? It's the same way the bad guys can actually apply it to try to do bad stuff to the organization, right? So there's something called warm GPT, right? Which is like a chat GPT that doesn't have restriction to implementing bad stuff, right? So yeah, that's like a practical example. Yes, AI can sometimes be biased depending on, yeah, true. Yes, deepfake for misleading the public is a con. True. All right. So you all have spoken correctly. You all have spoken correctly. So let's hit the breaks now. Take let's take our 10 minutes break, and then by 11 minutes past time we'll get back to our session. Okay. So thank you guys. See you soon. All right, guys, we're back from break. Please, okay. So please, can you guys hear me? All right. Thank you, guys. So yeah, moving on. So yeah, that's briefly about AI. Very very brief introduction. Now, cloud computing, right? Cloud security. So I believe some of you guys have heard about cloud, so we are not going to dwell on that, right? Because we're looking at it from like an emerging technology perspective. Okay, so we don't want to go into too much detail explaining, but cloud basically shared on demand computing over the internet, right? And we have some key players when it comes to cloud computing. We have like AWS, we have Azure, we have GCP. So these are like the major players when it comes to cloud computing. AWS, that is Amazon Web Service, Azure from Microsoft, GCP, Google Cloud. Um, oh my God, don't do this to me. I can't remember the full meaning of GCP. Let me quickly check Google. Okay, Google Cloud Platform. Okay, sorry guys. Okay, so Google Cloud Platform, right? And yeah, security is a shared responsibility when it comes to cloud. Both the person renting the infrastructure and the cloud service provider share security responsibility. Customers secure their data and configuration. Okay, so that is it when it comes to cloud. Okay, right? And one thing you we want to the point we want to make out is traditionally, right, people have to build their own infrastructure, right? Before now, people have like their server room or their server farm where they have to is a it's quite expensive basically, right? And what cloud service provider is bringing is, oh, you don't have to spend too much money to have your own server, to be able to host your own application and those kind of stuff, right? So with this coming, right, the mode of technology business has really changed, right? And then we have like a lot of businesses nowadays rely heavily on cloud, which means about 90% of organizations use multi-cloud, right? Because there's heavy adoption when it comes to using cloud, right? And as right now we have like a lot of people working remotely and all those kind of stuff, right? Which is still has a lot to do with still has a lot to do with cloud. Oh my, I lost my train of thought. Okay, so a lot of people are working remotely right now, which is made heavily possible by cloud, right? So a lot of people rely heavily on cloud. And what this means is that the attack surface has shifted, right? The attack surface has shifted. Okay, so what is okay? Attacks might not necessarily be so focused on traditional network as it used to be, right? Attack might not necessarily be so focused on attacking individuals as it used to be, right? Because we have a lot of things now happening on the cloud. Okay, so the attack surface has shifted from the traditional one to the cloud, right? So this is something you also want to be looking at how you can actually tap into this. So I'm going to get into why we are doing all of this because somebody has actually been asking, oh, what is the most profitable field when it comes to cybersecurity and all those kind of stuff. So these are like some things you have to put into perspective when you are trying to measure, right, and all those kind of stuff. Okay, so just brief recap. There are some popular things we can just whenever you are touching cloud, you can't just do without mentioning things like IaaS, PaaS, SaaS, right? So when it comes to IaaS, like EC2, VMs, EC2 on your AWS, VMs on your Azure, and all those kind of things, right? And then PAS, right? Maybe App Engine, right? And maybe SAS or SAS, as most people call it, right? So these are like some example, right? Gmail, Microsoft 365, and all those kind of things, and the various differences when it comes to these different models. Okay, but we are not going into too deep into all of this. So now another thing, another trend, like we feel like you guys should be looking at, right, is threat intelligence, right? Because I'm going to relate this back to AI and LLM right now, right? Okay, so threat intelligence is becoming like a very, very important thing. Okay, so gathering information on current and emerging threats, indicators of compromise, and all those kind of things. That is like something which is also very important right now. Right, these are threats you're supposed to look into, right? Like informations on the dark web, right? We have LLMs, more sophisticated, scraping the dark web for information, getting information from forums, automation, and all those kind of stuff, right? Are becoming better, right? Becoming a whole lot better. So yeah, threat intelligence, right, is it's not like the oldest domain in cybersecurity, but it's also another domain that as a result of AI is becoming like something that is very, very promising right now. Okay, so why trend matters, right? Why trend matter and why you have to pay attention to them, right? First, technology evolve, as you can see, right? In fact, like when it comes to security, right, the knowledge you're using, maybe the knowledge you used maybe last month, right? If you're going to be using it this month, right, there might be a little bit um change, right? Maybe the tool you're using you used last month when you come to this month, right? Maybe something has changed and all those kind of stuff, right? More like, I think like one place that I see this very often is like cloud, right? Maybe when you are going to your AWS, your Azure dashboard, you just notice oh something has changed a little bit, right? Maybe there's a little bit change in how things are being implemented, how you go about things, right? In tech, things are constantly changing. Things are constantly changing, right? But then you also, as a professional, you have to make sure that you are also evolving with these things. It's not like the change is going to be very, very drastic. It's not like the change is going to be 100% drastic, right? But you have to keep up with the change, right? So staying up to date means you are staying relevant. That's just the honest truth, right? Staying up to date is means you are staying relevant, right? And then ultimately, this new tech bring new jobs and responsibilities. Now, when I say new jobs and responsibilities, sometimes a new role, right, is going to be created, and then sometimes a particular role is going to evolve. Okay, right? Sometime a particular role is just going to involve. Sometime an entirely new role is going to be created, right? So moving on, we are going to be discussing like very briefly some roles that you might want to be looking into, right? Because I believe like these roles are actually quite promising, right? Apart from what we some roles that are already traditional, right? We have some roles that you might want to be looking into. Okay, I have some comments. Guys, please can you hear me? Let me be sure you can hear me because I have some persons. I'm not sure. Can you guys hear me, please? Okay, thank you. So I want to believe it's those guys' network. All right, thank you, guys. Okay, so like I was saying, you want to have your eyes on some of this role and as well see the traditional role, right? In fact, sometimes maybe all you have to do is just add some of these skill sets to the skill sets that you already possess for these traditional roles, and then you'll be in like a very, very good place. Okay, so, for example, when it comes to AI, right, some things you want to look at, like cyber threat analyst, right? But then you might want to like be AI focused, right? Okay, as a threat analyst, as a threat analyst, right, or as a security analyst, right? You want to um, you want to look into how you can focus more on using AI in making yourself more marketable and all those kind of stuff, right? ML engineer, right? Maybe as an engineer, you want to focus on security of AI, right? And then security automation engineer, right? Um, yeah, so all those kind of stuff, right? And yeah, some of your comments are distracting me, but I'll get back to all of this later. Okay, so when it comes to cloud, right? Yeah, cloud is actually very, very important right now. I'm not even going to lie about it, right? Because we have a lot of organizations shifting from traditional network to cloud, right? We have like even the traditional organizations are also looking at how to integrate with the cloud. So right now, like cloud is something that is very, very much in. Yeah, I see it as something that is very promising. I'm not even going to lie about that, right? So cloud security engineer, cloud compliance analyst, DevSecOps engineer, cloud IAM specialist, or some people call it IAM, right? These are like careers that are very, very promising when it comes to cloud security. Okay, very, very promising, right? Most especially, I would say like cloud security engineers, right? Yeah, right now. And when it comes to threat intelligence, right? Threat intelligence analyst, CTI researcher, that is CTI, that is threat intelligence, right? Cyber threat intelligence, dark web analyst, right? Dark web analysts are basically people who are monitoring what is happening on the dark web, monitoring conversations happening on the dark web, right? And all those kind of stuff. Yeah, so these are like some trends you guys might want to pay attention to moving on in cybersecurity, right? Even as we progress, these are like some things you want to pay attention to, right? Because yeah, these things are very important. They are here to stay. In fact, some of them have been around for a while, but some people are not just exposed to them. So very, 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 very important. All right. So with that, we've come to the end of our session today. Very, very brief session. Very, very brief. And we did a little bit of recap, try to attend to some of the questions we have from previous classes. And moving on, we are going to be discussing yeah, today's session is very quick. That's why I had the luxury of answering a lot of your questions, right? So we are going to be moving on, we are going to look into some of these things. We are going to be discussing your project, how you go about it, how I'm going to be of help. I'm going to be rendering some mentorship, trying to guide you how to put things, structure things together, get hands-on, right? Projects, right? So more information concerning your project is going to be communicated soon. Okay. So more information concerning your project is going to be communicated soon. And yeah, trust me, project is going to be very hands-on. So prepare, right? And I'm that teacher that will teach you 1 plus 1, but in exam, I'm going to ask you 10 times 10, right? So what this means is in tech, right? Most major thing you need is set a very good fundamentals, right? And once you are sure your fundamentals is good, remember from the beginning we mentioned that Google is your best friend, right? So you're going to be doing a lot of research, try to understand some concept, and then you're going to be implementing it in the project. And then that's going to be possible. That's going to be done in a month. So that's enough time for you to explore concerning that project and deliver like a very good result. Okay. So moving on, when it comes to the project, there's going to be like a lot of personal study, personal investigation, and all those kind of stuff. Okay, so thank you very much, guys. I'm just going to go through the comments now, and then once we are done, we'll call it a wrap for tonight. Okay. Okay, someone is asking, is there something this tight step? Is there something like cybersecurity project manager or IT project manager for someone fundamental skills in PM? I mean, The best way I can explain is if there's a cybersecurity project that you are managing, right? Yeah. So that might be possible. I mean, if you want to manage a cybersecurity project, definitely you need to have an understanding of what the project is like to be able to do a very good job. Okay. Yeah. So yeah. So IT project management for someone. Yeah, if you have a fundamental skill in project management and that's what you're passionate about, but then you want to be managing cybersecurity projects, there might be one or two things you can actually do here. Because there are tools that there are commercial tools that produce solely for cybersecurity purpose. Okay. Yeah. Ezekiel, please up until now, I have not received any mail. Okay, I honestly can't say for concerning that Ezekiel if you've not received mail up until now. Philip, Emmanuel, nothing you could tell me. I would on to cyber cloud computing, and that's why. Oh my God, that's a lot of money. 800 and $580. Wow, that's a lot of money. Right, please make the best out of it. Okay, make the best out of it. Okay, Vuma adversary attack. Okay, okay. Um. Oh my God, this person. I'm just going to skip your question. Aderito Isaiah. Okay. Um. Okay, Joy Chinima. How can someone trace lost phone? Right. If you want to track a lost phone, right, you need to go to the police because those are the people who are officially authorized to do those kind of thing in the country. Okay, so private individuals, to the best of my knowledge, we are not allowed to do those kind of stuff. Okay, enjoy Chidima. Okay, Ngozi, is the project going to be in group or individual? Yes, it's going to be in group, right? More concerning the project is going to be communicated very soon. Okay, Ngozi. Yes, Damat, today's session is very, very short. In fact, we are going to have like, because this week we are just rounding up, wrapping up, and preparing for our project. Okay. All right. Thank you for the compliments, Tobechuko. I appreciate. Thank you, David. Thank you, Victory. Um, yes, Bright, tonight's class was yeah. All right. Victory, my fellow comrade, thank you very much. Tobechuku, so the compliment is because you want to bribe me. Oh my God. Okay. I mean, I'm going to be working with almost everybody. So yeah. Okay. So someone is asking, how do we build our portfolio? Yeah. So that's what we are going to be working on for the next 1 month. Okay. All right. Uh, okay. Okay. Omotosho is asking, why has practical classes been solely on. Yes, because that's what we have authorization for, right? You don't want to test another person's, right? There's something called authorization. You can't just pick on anybody and test them, right? You can't just go start poking other people's network. That's going to put you in trouble. Okay. Okay, I believe I've answered some of this question. Okay. All right. So thank you very much, guys, for tonight. Please have a good night rest and see you in the very next one, guys. Bye bye.